Everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested. Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
This sentencing brings me great joy. 24-year-old California resident Christian Secor was the president of an alt-right group that he founded on the UCLA campus. It was called America First Bruins. On November 3rd of 2020, Secor sent a text message saying, quote, "We're going to win bigly, and if we don't, we're taking this ship down in flames." And quote, "They're cheating. Trump will pull through by legal or illegal means." Then he followed up by tweeting about election lies. He urged governors to secede from the US. And then on January 5th, Secor messaged someone and said that he took a gas mask with him to DC because he, quote, "expect shit to go sideways. People are pissed. Burning thin blue line flags. I heard that journos had targets on their back last time, and that'll be amplified this time. Wouldn't be surprised if conservatives just storm the police and clobber Antifa and the police, but that's wishful thinking." In response to conspiracy theories about online maps being disabled for the DC area, Secor tweeted, quote, "The institutional attacks on this demonstration are something out of the Arab Spring. More reason to go by any means necessary." And then on January 6th, Secor was seen scaling scaffolding. This was on the Capitol grounds. He was wearing an America First hat. He was carrying an America First flag. And Secor entered the building illegally. This was shortly after the first breach, within 30 seconds of Vice President Mike Pence being evacuated, by the way. Secor was then seen on surveillance video walking throughout the Capitol. He entered Nancy Pelosi's office, and he was seen helping others to breach doors. This allowed members of the mob to get inside the building. So he aided about 30 other people. They were pushing their full weight against 3 officers. They basically smashed the officers between them and the doors. Because the officers were guarding these exterior doors for the rotunda, trying to keep people out. And so these mob members were able to get the officers out of the way, and then they opened the doors from the inside and let more people in. A little while after that, Secor was seen inside the Senate gallery. Then he made his way down to the Senate floor. He was the one that you saw in photos sitting on the dais where VP Pence had just fled. That evening, after he left the building, Secor tweeted out, quote, "Feds working with Antifa." But then he contradicts himself and he tweets, quote, "It was Trump supporters, you losers, and you should be proud. One day accomplished more for conservatism than the last 30 years. And all the normie have to say is denial. You boomers will kill our republic." And then sometime after January 12th, a friend of his messaged him. He asked Secor about his guns, and he told the friend, quote, "We are in a civil war." And then basically he told him, don't ask things like that on an open line of communication. But Secor tried to cover his tracks. He deleted his Twitter account, and then he completely ditched his cell phone. In fact, the FBI was unable to locate it. They never did find it. So on January 23rd, Secor used a brand new phone to text a friend, and he wrote, quote, "My FB doesn't have anything, by the way," meaning Facebook. Then the friend replied, quote, "No, the page you made," and quote, "I thought you were trying to delete everything." And then Secor responded, quote, "I'll delete it today." So he must have had a Facebook page in addition to his Facebook profile, like private profile. And here's why I say this sentence gives me a lot of pleasure. Not only did he live in my state, so I want him gone, but Secor is a documented racist who had a history of harassing and targeting other students at UCLA. Numerous complaints were lodged against him about his bigoted, anti-immigrant, anti-Semitic comments on campus. Some of the complaints were even made by UCLA's Republican Club. But the school couldn't do anything about it because they would be violating his First Amendment rights, right? He wasn't hurting anyone physically. He wasn't threatening anyone. So I completely understand that and I support it. However, in my opinion, this guy is a ticking time bomb. When the search warrant was executed at his home, agents found numerous firearms, including a ghost gun. They also found mace, they found body armor plates, and then they discovered that prior to the election, he spent $3,300 on guns. The FBI also found in his vehicle 3 knives and a baton. And then they found that he had searched online to try to find out if a gun owner could be identified by the serial number on the weapon. And in February of last year, Secor texted a friend and he made mention of, quote, ultra secret future operations. So Secor was arrested on February 16th of last year. In a superseding indictment, he was charged with obstructing an official proceeding, civil disorder, assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, entering the floor of Congress, entering the gallery of Congress, entering certain rooms in the Capitol, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In May of this year, Secor pleaded guilty to the obstruction charge. He was facing up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 57 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So Secor's attorney asked for a sentence of 2 years of probation only because she said, he didn't take a weapon to the Capitol. She also tried to claim that essentially he's all talk, no action. It's just a bunch of bravado. His defense attorney also tried to use scientific evidence about the late development of the prefrontal cortex in our brains. So she was arguing that, he wasn't mature enough to know what he was doing, what was going on. In that case, though, and I've said this before with you guys, why are we selling guns to people under the age of 25? That's when supposedly the prefrontal cortex is fully formed. So why? Why are we asking them to and allowing them to join the military before the age of 25, where they're using weapons or buy alcohol or to drive a car? It's a 2,000-pound weapon. Sorry. If he's old enough to buy weapons, he's old enough to know what he's doing. So U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden presided over this case. And actually, I was shocked to see that he actually gave a damn this time. McFadden told Secor that his conduct was, quote, about as blatant and obstructive as any scene from that day that didn't include actual violence. The judge also questioned Secor's so-called remorse. And he said, quote, I'm not sure I've really seen that from you, sir. McFadden also said, quote, you are in part responsible for the trauma experienced that day. And he noted that Secor was in Pelosi's office where staff members were, quote, cowering, terrified. However, McFadden also pointed out that Secor didn't, quote, personally injure anyone and, quote, many young people have made mistakes in their early 20s. I think this one is a little different. But anyway, in the end, the judge sentenced Secor to 42 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So although it's much lower than what was requested, I would have bet money. If anyone asked me, I would have bet money that McFadden was going to let him off with probation only. Just given his past sentences and how he favors these people, as you guys all know, McFadden is a Trump appointee. He has compared January 6th to the BLM protests. So I had no hope that this guy was going to end up behind bars. So I have to say, I'm happy. I'm not thrilled, but I'm happy. One less armed racist, total loon off the streets for a few years and during the next presidential election, most importantly. So, all right, guys, if I hear any more, I will let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.